Apocalypse versus Onslaught. Who do you think will win in a showdown between two ultimate forces of destruction? Apocalypse, also known as En Sabah Nur, is considered the first mutant and one of the most powerful entities in history, possessing an immortal body, near infinite regeneration, and the ability to manipulate molecules to change shape, enhance strength, and recreate biological structures at will. Apocalypse also has a superhuman intellect, often applying sophisticated strategies in battle. He can manipulate energy, teleport, and thanks to alien technology, he becomes a nearly unbeatable warrior. Onslaught is the terrifying combination of two of the most powerful mutants, Charles Xavier and Magneto. Xavier's mental power merged with Magneto's magnetic control created a superhuman entity that far surpasses both. Onslaught not only has cosmic telepathy, reading and controlling the minds of millions of people at once, but also possesses the ability to manipulate energy, matter, and force fields. His power is enough to confront the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men at the same time. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button. Please remember to turn on notifications and click the bell icon. Thank you very much. Apocalypse was born in ancient Egypt some 5,000 years ago, and thanks to his mutant powers, he gradually gained attention and was eventually worshipped as a god. He was then exposed to advanced celestial technology, integrating it into himself and becoming more powerful than ever. Apocalypse is not only known as a world destroyer, but also the embodiment of ultimate evolution, surpassing the limits of any normal mutant. Possessing the ability to absorb energy at the highest level, he reached level 5, so powerful that even Rogue, known for her ability to steal power and memories, became small before him. Apocalypse is also a perfect metamorph, able to transform his body at will and merge with advanced technology. He has assimilated giant sentinels, and even appropriated alien technology left by a celestial, thereby expanding his power to a near limitless level. Therefore, in order to stop him, not only a small group but also the X-Men and the Brotherhood were forced to temporarily put aside their differences to join forces. However, they could only temporarily banish Apocalypse, because he was never truly defeated permanently in the main Earth 616 timeline. One of the darkest moments was when Rogue was brainwashed by Mysterio and Apocalypse. In her out-of-control state, she absorbed all the powers of her teammates, and shortly after, Apocalypse absorbed Rogue herself and all the other mutants at the same time, possessing countless powers at once, spreading terror to anyone who dared to oppose him. En Sabah Nur may not have been the first mutant, but he is considered so because he was the first recorded mutant. He started as a slave, then a warrior, and finally a conqueror. Nur seemed to embody the core principles of evolution, eliminating the weak so that the strong could survive. Over the millennia, he has encouraged powerful mutants to become even more powerful, possibly simply to ensure he has powerful bodies to possess when needed. Centuries ago, En Sabah Nur was recruited by the Celestials to be the overseer of their great experiment on Earth, ensuring that evolution was not disrupted. He has taken this to extremes over the eons, but the technology bestowed upon him by the cosmic gods has allowed him to essentially become a miniature angel in many ways, and it is this technology that makes him so dangerous. It is this technology that has enhanced his natural abilities to the point where he can go toe-to-toe with the likes of Thor or the Hulk. Apocalypse is over 5,000 years old and is one of the first humans to be born a mutant, though perhaps not the oldest mutant as he claims. These ancient mutants are known as Externals, or sometimes High Lords. The External and Hellfire Club, Hellfire Trading Company, Black Queen, Selene Gallio is said to be over 17,000 years old and remembers the fall of Atlantis, as well as having lived in the Roman Empire. En Sabah Nur has inculcated in himself an absolute belief in survival of the fittest. In his vision, the world should belong only to those who possess superior power, to pave the way for a new era of mutants. He pursues this ideal through blood and iron, promoting war, sowing conflict so that mutants can train, purify, and become the dominant force. It is worth noting that despite his immense power, he is ranked as an alpha instead of an omega. This may be due to the fact that his abilities, while extraordinary, are still tied to his physical body. Nevertheless, Apocalypse is still ranked among the top 1% of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, a position that puts him on par with the beings who have shaken the universe. He has faced off against Thor, the warrior god of Asgard, against Kang the Conqueror with his time-manipulating powers, and even faced off against the vampire king Dracula. Of those who could put an end to him, only Odin, the great king of Asgard and father of the northern gods, has the power to truly make Apocalypse falter. Apocalypse also has connections to alien technology, allowing him to unleash his full potential. A celestial, to be more precise. Apocalypse does not rely solely on the natural powers of mutants, but also seeks to amplify himself through other means. He has assimilated at least 2 forms of organic technological viruses, transforming his body into a hybrid biological technological machine that can both heal itself and adapt to any combat situation. Ironically, it was Cable, the child born with the mission of traveling back in time to destroy him, who accidentally gave Apocalypse the immortality he always desired. From then on, he became the perfect embodiment of the philosophy he worshipped. The strong will survive, the weak are only worthy of disappearing. His goal has never changed, which is to restore world order where mutants become the sole masters of Earth. Unlike characters who lean towards raw power like the Hulk or superpowers like Franklin Richards and the X-Men, Apocalypse built himself into a great strategist. However, history shows that he is not invincible. Apocalypse has been nearly killed by Strife multiple times, crushed by Magneto in the Age of Apocalypse timeline, and taken down by the X-Man in his Life Seed Shaman Nate form. He has fallen to Jean Grey's destructive power in a fit of rage, been defeated by Cable twice, been finished off by Cyclops, and in a dark future, suffered defeats against Rogue and Nimrod. The reason Apocalypse seems so powerful is because of his intelligence. He's smarter than his enemies, and he doesn't fight anyone with real power. You never see him fight the likes of Thanos, Galactus, Odin, Thor, the Celestials, the Legion in real battles that really show off his abilities to make him a force to be reckoned with. When he fights the likes of Thor, it's a 1-2 punch of him getting the villain suit and losing when Thor gets his suit. He fought the Molecule Man once, but it was more of an intellectual chess exchange than a real display of ability. I really hope you subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and you are the best. Thank you so much. Onslaught is a powerful psychic entity born of hatred. Tragically, when the minds of Professor X and Magneto temporarily merged in a violent conflict and resentment and darkness pent up over many years, capable of crushing anyone who dares to stand in his way. He inherited Xavier's superior intellect and mind control ability, as well as Magneto's limitless power to control magnetic fields. Not stopping there, Onslaught also expanded his power by absorbing Franklin Richards and Nate Grey, 2 Omega-level mutants, turning him into a power machine beyond imagination. Onslaught displayed terrible power when confronting the entire force of Earth's superheroes. The Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men had to join forces to be able to hold him back. During that battle, Onslaught created an artificial sun, capable of manipulating energy on a cosmic scale. His physical strength was compared to the Hulk in his unconscious state, when Banner had completely disappeared and only his primal rage remained. His attacks shook the ground. The sky cracked as if signaling the impending doom. Onslaught became a nightmare not only for mutants, but for the entire Earth. Onslaught possessed a form of psychic power that made him a nightmare for anyone who dared to face him. He could easily penetrate the thoughts of others, completely reading the secrets hidden deep in their minds, and at the same time implanting commands or images of his own creation. Onslaught's power allowed him to influence consciousness even thousands of miles away. Even the most powerful telepathic masters had difficulty erecting a defensive wall against this overwhelming mental pressure. He is capable of creating mental illusions so elaborate that they appear so real that the victim believes they are experiencing a series of events that never actually happened. In these illusions, people can feel pain, fear, or even death as if they were happening right before their eyes. Onslaught can also erase his presence and that of his companions, rendering them invisible to his enemies. Onslaught can change his appearance, his clothes, and even completely recreate his form, making it impossible for those around him to distinguish what is real from what is fake. Onslaught's telepathic control is so powerful that he is one of the few people who can completely control the Hulk, albeit in a calm state, despite the Green Giant's strong resistance to psychic manipulation. Professor X and Magneto are particularly vulnerable to Onslaught's control, as it was born from them. Onslaught is not only a master of mind manipulation, but also possesses the ability to unleash streams of psychic energy of unimaginable power. When they explode, the victim's mind is squeezed in an invisible vice. A feeling of of pain spreading from the brain, paralyzing the entire body. Even Juggernaut, who is protected by a magical helmet that is resistant to most forms of psychic attacks, cannot completely withstand it. An energy blast from Onslaught, though not yet omnipotent, was powerful enough to penetrate this defense, causing Juggernaut to pause. That momentary delay alone opened the door for Onslaught to launch a counterattack, turning the otherwise invincible giant into a passive target. Onslaught has very sophisticated physical manipulation abilities. He can disassemble complex devices by implosion, taking apart individual parts, such as screws, nuts, circuit boards, etc., and assemble complex devices with speed and ease. This also allows him to perceive and manipulate objects as small as individual electrons in an atom. For example, Onslaught can detect whether a seal is airtight by checking for the presence of permeable oxygen molecules. He can even detect and distinguish individual oxygen molecules, and determine the atomic weight of the molecules based on the number of atoms present. At a higher level, Onslaught can levitate objects weighing several tons. Onslaught has the ability to shape and manipulate magnetic fields that exist naturally or artificially. He can draw magnetic fields from the outside, or he can create them internally. Onslaught's powers are both psychic and physiological in nature. He can levitate, move, and transform objects. Onslaught can project metal at unparalleled speeds and apply immense pressure to metallic substances to liquefy and reshape them, manipulate iron-rich blood to the brain to cause aneurysms or unconsciousness, redirect blood flow through the brain to alter thoughts and perceptions, or completely empty a person's mind, levitate a person or control a person's actions by manipulating the iron in the blood, remove iron from the blood entirely through a person's skin, manipulate iron particles in the atmosphere, alter the Earth's magnetic field, which extends into space as a magnetosphere, enhance his own strength to incredibly superhuman levels, and achieve a variety of other effects. Onslaught can manipulate the iron in any organic matter, allowing him to take complete control of his opponent's bodies. Onslaught has also demonstrated the ability to manipulate blood flow within the body, causing his opponents to die painfully or even quickly. Onslaught has the ability to project or manipulate any form of energy within the electromagnetic spectrum. Heat or infrared radiation is part of the electromagnetic spectrum, which also includes visible light, radio waves, ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, and X-rays. Onslaught can project any of these. Onslaught can maintain complete control over the electromagnetic field of an entire planet and can manipulate it accordingly. He has also released a cage of fire created by the Human Torch, but whether he simply extended his personal force field or used something else entirely is unclear. Onslaught was able to match the Hulk without Banner in a very angry state, the only person with enough brute strength to overcome Onslaught's strength and destroy his armor. Thus, despite being an impressive feat of raw strength, Onslaught was eventually overpowered when the Hulk's rage reached its peak. Onslaught has the ability to absorb any mutant into his body and thus permanently possess their powers. X-Man and Franklin Richards are two mutants he has absorbed to increase his immense power. Both are superhumanly powerful, but Onslaught has the advantage, having easily defeated Juggernaut and facing the Hulk at full power. Apocalypse, while powerful, does not reach this level in direct confrontations. Onslaught is completely superior with his cosmic level telepathy. While Apocalypse has no significant psychic abilities, Onslaught can easily manipulate or disable Apocalypse's mind. Apocalypse has the advantage of regeneration and immortality thanks to celestial technology, but Onslaught in his pure psychic form is nearly impossible to destroy by conventional means. Apocalypse is an excellent strategist with thousands of years of experience, but Onslaught, with the wisdom of Xavier and Magneto, is no slouch. Furthermore, Onslaught's telepathy allows him to predict and react faster. Onslaught has the ability to absorb the powers of mutants, which is especially dangerous for Apocalypse, a mutant. If Apocalypse uses his powers, he could inadvertently make Onslaught stronger. Apocalypse can hold his own in a physical fight thanks to his regenerative abilities and strength. He can use his molecular control to avoid or counter Onslaught's attacks. However, Onslaught, with his nearly invulnerable armor and ability to manipulate magnetic fields, would quickly gain the upper hand. Onslaught switches to pure psychic energy after his armor is destroyed, as in his fight with the Hulk. Apocalypse would stand little chance. Onslaught could use his telepathic abilities to disable Apocalypse's mind or absorb his powers, making him easy prey. Some have suggested that if Apocalypse had time to prepare and use the powers of the 12, a group of 12 mutants to enhance his strength, he could be stronger than Onslaught in his physical form. However, even in this case, if Onslaught turns into a psychic form, Apocalypse still has no way to counter it. Onslaught is clearly stronger than Apocalypse in most aspects. He possesses cosmic-level psychic power, superior matter and energy manipulation abilities, and the ability to absorb mutant powers, making him a threat on a higher level than Apocalypse. The final winner is Onslaught. I hope you enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.